Good morning and welcome to the market forecast. Today is Thursday, June the 3rd. My name is John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. Welcome to another episode of As the Markets Turn. We've got some things going on this morning. Lots of data already out. More due. Hopefully, if you're in the markets, you've got things heading your way. It's been an interesting morning already. Lots of changes as I've been looking at these markets. Lots of different ideas, different opportunities. As always, we're going to be looking at these markets seeking accurate context, good risk management, and of course, remaining patient. This morning, we had the ADP employment numbers come out. Very good. They were forecasting 650,000 non-farm employment. We added 978,000. So that's good news. It's got our equities, which took a little bit of a nosedive last night, already kind of turning the tide here for the morning. We're going to see those in the charts here very shortly. Initial jobless claims was a little bit lower than expected. Continuing jobless claims, not such good news there, but overall, I'm thinking it's pretty good as far as the employment numbers, and of course, we're looking forward to the employment numbers for real tomorrow morning, 7:30. Unemployment due out. So we're still looking for 8:45 this morning. The PMI composite final, not going to be impactful. 9:30 EIA natural gas, 10 o'clock. EIA crude numbers due out again on Thursday because of the Monday holiday. Well, looking at the news and looking at the markets this morning, the U.S. stocks took a dive last night prior to the data deluge scheduled for today. Again, much of it already out and already being digested. We're seeing our equities taking a little bit of a turn back to the upside. And again, we're going to see that shortly. Crude prices continue to ratchet higher after the API had a surprise drop of 5.3 million barrels. I think they were looking for somewhere around 2.5. Came out 5.3 million barrel drop in crude stocks. So the EIA is expecting a smaller 2.4 million barrel drop. We're going to have to see how that comes out at 10 o'clock today. We do have some earnings coming out. We have Broadcom, DocuSign, and every business's favorite tool, Slack. All are announcing earnings after the close, but really the focus, the fair-haired thing, I think that everybody's kind of keeping an eye on as far as stocks are concerned. AMC, the Reddit favorite, has rallied over 400% in just 2 weeks. It doubled yesterday. Unbelievable what the group can accomplish, huh? How about that? Let's remember, please smash the like button, share, comment, question, and feedback and heckling are always welcome. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can notify you when we do go live. This morning, looking at the VIX, up a little over 7% this morning at 1884, as the markets have taken that little downturn in the London session last night. Of course, VIX is going to come up a little bit higher. Dollar index up a little bit this morning, again, back above that 90 level at 90.2. The 10-year yield slipping off a little bit down below that 1.6 level, now at 1.59. We're going to say good morning to everybody. I love this. Good morning, Theo. First one in the room, you win the prize. Richie, Brian, Tone, Vince, Subconscious, Ednelson, Jay Gilmo, Jim, Caesar, Laura, good morning. Trading Research, good morning. Colin, the chef, Mr. Magallanes in the room. Tanya, good to see you this morning, Tanya. Deanna, JD, the Dancing Bears in the room. Murph, good morning. Happy trading. It's going to be a good one today, boys and girls. I truly hope that is true. Lucas, Vici, Lemur, and Jason Cargill, good morning, Joshua. If you joined me for the group coaching yesterday, hopefully you found it useful and impactful for you. We'd certainly like to know how you liked the trader kind of round table that we did yesterday at 2:30 to about 3:30. Had some really good guests there and a really good conversation, I thought. We'd love to know what you thought about it, and we're looking forward to doing that more and more. Buenos Thursday, everyone. Josh, Jason, Amol, Greg, Luck, and good morning. Sorry, it's a bit off topic. What time do we need to close wheat contracts? I think the the regular trading hours are 1 or 1:15. Check the CME Group page for when that is. It's been so long since I traded grains. I think I've killed those brain cells. Uh, it's a good question, Ryan. We'll take a look and I have an answer for you that 100% for sure tomorrow. But yeah, it's been a while since I've traded grains. The round table I think is going to be on our YouTube channel. You may be able to find it there now. I can maybe take a quick look for you, see if it's already up and on there. Don't see it up, but it will be up on our YouTube channel, I'm sure, sometime soon. We did it on go to meetings, so it's going to be a little bit before we can get that back up there. All right. Okay. Markets, what are they doing? See, the S&Ps are still kind of coming off those lows. Let's go ahead and get in there and take a look. I'm going to get set up here. So we start where we usually do on the daily in crude. And I see your comment, Greg. Was very good. We had a little too much time on a single topic, but good. I appreciate that feedback. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that, Greg. Roundtable, really enjoyed it. Good. Jared was a great addition. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So, all right, let's jump into the charts and see what we see. Okay. Daily. Crude oil. API of 5 million barrel drop. We're looking for 2.4 million barrel draw today at 10 o'clock. Price has been strong. The auction does appear healthy. We added another 4,700 in open interest yesterday, above an important inflection level. I would certainly call what's been going on up here acceptance of higher price above an important inflection level. What day was this? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, we broke out above the last week's high as well as the weekly kickoff high. We've been moving higher. Volume a little bit low yesterday, but again, we did add 4,700 in open interest. I'm starting to be a little bit nervous about a potential profit-taking event. We've come a long way in a short period of time, from 61 and a half up to almost 70. I mean, this is an $8 move. At some point, somebody's going to take some profits. It almost looked like it was going to happen this morning. We've kind of recovered the earlier losses, but I'm just going to be aware. We've got a pretty decent move to the upside here. Moves in the opposite direction can be short-lived, but they can be real face rippers. Be careful. Make sure you're using stops. Onto the 30-minute chart here, no real overnight positioning. Okay, we had the move up last night. API came out. Oh, it was somewhere around here. Had a nice pop to the upside. All of those longs are now resolved. We're trading right near settlement. No real reason to get too excited about getting into anything too early this morning. We're above value, but we're in range. We're very close to settlement. Is there a big change in the perception of value of a barrel of crude oil right now? No, that can change in a heartbeat. Don't forget we have EIA at 10 o'clock today, not 9:30 as usual. So, there may be some kind of muted activity until then. We don't know that, but once that number comes out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to respond, think, Be cognitive. Don't be emotional in anything that might happen after that comes out. Be logical. Think about what your direct competitors, what your direct participants in the marketplace are thinking about and doing. You want to do something different. You want to do something different for sure. Because we know that most of our direct participants, the people that are playing in our time frame, are mostly going to be kind of emotion or fear based traders. They're making decisions based on fear of missing out or fear of loss. If you're thinking like they are, you can respond differently. We know most of them aren't going to make money if we're doing what they're doing. Neither are we. So be cognitive in your decisions today, and every day. Take a look at the E-mini S&Ps. And, in crude oil, I'm probably not going to be doing much until after the numbers come out at 10 o'clock. So relax a little bit. There's other things to be looking at, of course. Finally, we've got a little bit of a crack in the buyers that have been holding price up against that inflection level at 42.20. The idea in when we leave balance is to go with the breakout outside of balance. But remember, you have to be able to recognize acceptance through volume, through time, through momentum, through participation. Did we see momentum or participation below last week's low so far in the S&Ps today? No, we're not even open yet. We're going to see if there's a potential breakout to the downside below last week's low after the open. Now, we had the push down in the overnight. We've had a little bit of good news come out. If there's no other bad news, then I'm going to probably be looking to fade the lows if I get the opportunity. We're going to see on the 30-minute chart how there's a kind of a sign already that the downside momentum from last night is already starting to fade. We did add 7,600 in open interest yesterday, so there's still plenty of money coming into the market. Direction, again, is unknown. Why? Because, well, rollover. That's one thing. We're usually going to add a whole bunch of open interest on rollover, and a lot of that open interest is going to expire. They're going to settle in cash. So open interest and volume, of course, becomes very blurry during rollover. So we can't really depend on that too much. Acceptance outside of yesterday's range is really where I'm looking for any bigger opportunities. Anything inside of that may be a smaller opportunity. Take a look at the 30-minute chart here. Okay. Here's weekly kickoff high. Here's last week's high. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Lots and lots of rejection up here. It's like me when I was dating. We had the nice push to the downside. What was it about? What caused it? I couldn't find anything that I could put my finger on, particularly that caused this move to the downside. So initially, I'm looking at the market while it's one-time framing lower, thinking, okay, well, the first thing I don't want to do is I don't want to fight this. There were a couple of visual downside levels. We had a naked point of control back down here at 41.58. I've extended that naked point of control. And then we had our last week's low just before that, 41.42. But already we're seeing momentum to the downside fall off. These are the whole moving averages. It's a 9 and a 13 whole moving average. We've seen price staying below it. Now we're seeing price staying above it. We've got the 9-session crossing over the 13. This this can be a sign of a change in momentum, at least a slowing in momentum. This gives us an opportunity to look for a long. We may be a little late to the party on that now, but we're still going to be opening with a gap, and there's still going to be some good opportunities today. So now I'm going to be watching to see if the market opens and leaves the opening range at the low of the session. If it leaves the market, if it leaves the opening range at the low of the session, that first minute of trade from 8:30 to 8:31, and we get up, I'll look to maybe come up here and close the gap. We do have a lot of shorts in this market. Those shorts are starting to get a little bit nervous. Okay, so an early opportunity may be off the opening range in either direction, really. But this is a really good example, I think, of how these moving averages, depending on the moving averages you're looking at and the ones that you're using, can show change in direction and change in momentum. This is a really good explanation of it. So it's going to be a tough day, I think, in the equities because we are out of balance. There's more news coming out, and most of it's not going to be about the economy. However, we got a lot to digest with the employment numbers that came out today, and then we've got the unemployment tomorrow. So you're going to probably see a lot of positioning and hedging before tomorrow morning's employment number. It just feels to me like it's going to be a big one, if you will. Take a look now into the NASDAQ. Okay, very similar situation. Not. It seems a little bit more severe because the Nasdaq is further off the recent highs. The S&Ps, the recent highs were very close to this kind of same level that we're seeing here. We're seeing balance. We're seeing rejection. Yes, no. We're not going up there. Not going up there. And again, like when I was dating, lots of rejection up here, and now we're starting to see the market crack. Now, this is a little bit more serious because we are now currently holding below this 7 or 8 day balance area down here. So if we open down there, that may mark acceptance of lower pricing, but we've got opposing information as well. Now, we didn't really do anything as far as open interest yesterday. We lost about 500. Volume is kind of low in this area of balance, which is typical. But if we're going to be going with the breakout of balance, we're going to be looking to go with this move to the downside. So again, opposing information in similar products. Now, we've got settlement all the way up here, 13,637.75. This is a lot of shorts in this market. Look where the market went to. This is a previous weekly kickoff level that I've left on here. Almost a direct hit. Now we're seeing the momentum starting to fall off and movement in the opposite direction. So I think it's going to be really important for us, just looking at the balance area we've been in. If we can't fill this gap, I think this is going to be a very telling thing that might not happen. Remember, when you're looking at markets, what doesn't happen is sometimes more important than what does. Yeah, Carl, it's a Hull, HULL moving average, and it's a 9 and a 13 exactly, and it's really typically only useful when we're seeing momentum fall off and a possible change in direction, as we're seeing right here in the NASDAQ. Again, we see price largely holding below them. They're both pushing lower. The market is one time framing lower. I've got don't fight one time framing markets all over my notes for this morning, but we've already broken that one timing activity and we've seen the momentum fall off. The hulls, we've got a crossover, the 9 over the 13. The 9 is pointing higher. We keep moving higher. The 13 is going to turn higher. And, this may be one of those days where we can bring price all the way back to settlement. But back to what I was saying, if we can't close this gap, if we can't get back into the previous range, then I think that's going to be important information for moving forward, even into tomorrow and possibly even into next week. So it's going to be again another very interesting day today. If we can't close the gap and we continue this move higher, we've got this previous weekly kickoff level. We've got weekly kickoff from this week down here at 13,433. All right. Gold. Ah, okay. So we're starting to see a potential change in market state here in gold. This is big. Okay, we were in an upside digestion area here. Weekly kickoff low was really kind of a resistant area. Now it should have been supportive. It is not. Last week's range is going to be, of course, very important in this, but we are breaking an upward digestion area here, and if we accept below weekly kickoff low, there's plenty of space for this market to go. There's plenty of targets and things to look for along the way as well, which can help trip us up. Open interest has been kind of trending higher. It was higher again yesterday, 5,600. So we were still seeing money coming into this. But again, rejection off the highs, rejection off the highs, rejection off the highs. We are going to test last week's low. It would appear that that is a foregone conclusion. So in balance, we're fading. Out of balance, if we're marking acceptance here, and look at the volume already here today, almost the same as all day yesterday. We are bringing volume down here. This is a potential major change in direction. Here we go. Settlement all the way up here. I'm not even going to be thinking about settlement today, 1909.90, but I'm going to put it on my charts anyway. This is weekly kickoff low. The market opened at 720 and left the opening range at the dead high of the session. It has not changed. There is no change to the one-time framing activity. There is no change in momentum. I am not going to fight this move to the downside. Here's last week's low. It's going to be hard to get into this if we did not catch that opening range. And that opening range was huge. It was 32 ticks. It was a very difficult opening range to try and catch because of the amount of risk in it. But boy, if we did catch it, we're really looking good right now. If you're not in this, be careful trying to get into it. Sometimes we can use high and low volume nodes as possible short time frame, short resistance and support levels. Here's kind of a high volume node. Point of control is a high volume node. If we can get to one of the shoulders just to the other side of one of those high volume nodes between a high volume and a low volume node, sometimes we can catch ourselves a decent move to the downside. I do not, number one, if I'm not in this, I am not fighting it. I am not picking a bottom today unless maybe we'll see another momentum change in the whole moving averages. But this market is hell-bent to the downside right now, and I am not going to fight it. If I'm not in it, I'm going to wait. To the euro. Okay, euro. Well, we are having a hissy fit today in the euro, too. It's getting cheap in balance here. You know, we've got last week's low here as kind of the extreme of this area of balance we've been in. This may be, something that we want to think about or look at because, as far as candle bodies are concerned, we're right at the lowest candle body here before before last week's low. This is interesting. We lost 2,400, I think, in open interest yesterday. Volume's been pretty low up here. We haven't really had much activity. It's good to see that there's opportunity here. What about the 30-minute chart? What are we looking at? Okay, opening range, high of the session, at exactly yesterday's low. Interesting. So there's no gap, but rejection of yesterday's range in the fact that we opened at that and left the opening range at the high of the session. It's one time framing lower. I don't want to fight this. We've got a considerable amount of space before we get to weekly kickoff low, but we do have last week's low, which might be impactful for us, might give us a decent opportunity. Until we can put some sort of structure below here. Any longs should be very careful any shorts. You just try and get the right pullback and see if you can ride some of the move to the downside. I'm not in this. I'm not going to play it. I'm going to wait for something to change, something to say, here's your chance. It's cheap. Let's do this, and maybe we'll catch a nice opportunity for a 2, 3, 4 to 1 reward over risk trade. Now to the 10-year, which I don't know how anybody is trading this market. It still looks like it did to me yesterday. Blah. Still range bound. Volume and open interest was a little bit higher yesterday. Well, volume was lower, but volume open interest was an additional 30,000 in open interest. Not a huge number for the 10-year. But still just kind of I don't really see that there's any great opportunity here. Now, we've got settlement all the way up here. We're probably holding some overnight shorts here. The market kind of traded to not even yet to the point of control. We're kind of still pushing to the downside. I don't see anything that looks worth the risk to me in this. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not real excited about the 10-year lately. It's kind of off my radar. So there's some ideas for us, some thoughts, some things to think about as, again, we enter into yet another episode of As the Market Turns. See if we have any get to work the round table. Not sure if there was in my computer or the Zoom. Well, the sound, we did it on the GoToWebinar. It wasn't on Zoom, so maybe that has something to do with it. Not really sure. They're not EMAs, they're Hull moving averages, Carl. Good question. Is there any indicator on TS Trader to see open interest on futures in real time? I get this question a lot, Alexander, and boy, I really wish there was some way that they could do that. And I think that there are certain platforms that say they are able to monitor open interest in real time, but I don't see how that's even possible. It takes the exchange extra time to really find the true open interest, because the platform can't tell whether I'm buying a new position or I'm getting out of an old position, or if whoever I sell it to is getting into a new position or getting out of an old position. So anything that says that they're capable of monitoring open interest in real time, to me, is as much a hypothesis as me saying S&Ps are going to turn around and go back to settlement today. It's just a guess, because there's no way that any platform is going to be able to look at the tick stream, the time and sales, anything like that, and be able to recognize if it's a new position or if it's just passing risk or an exiting position. So it's a great question, Alexander, and I wish somebody could be able to do that, but in my opinion, it's going to be next to impossible to try to do that. Murph Dan said during the round table, the recording would be sent to all of those who signed up for it. I didn't hear anything about going on YouTube. Maybe I'm crazy. There is a good chance of that, though, but we'll find out if we get it up on YouTube. But, I guess everybody is going to get a link to a recording of it. Hopefully you did sign up for it. And, okay, I'm yammering on now. S&P is just opening up. Take your deep breath. Stay humble, grateful, and creative in your trading today. Let's get out there and make some money. I think we'll see Dan for the recap today, hopefully. I know we've missed a couple of days. And then you'll see me tomorrow morning for the forecast. Happy Thursday. Happy Friday, everyone. Yes. Yeah, TS Trader does show settlement price. We can take a look at that maybe tomorrow. I can show you where to put it on your quote board. All right.